I've recently thought, it's TikTok time.
How many followers do you have now? 40,000 followers on TikTok. That's huge. I've got 40 million on TikTok. Sorry.
Among my trusted few, Angela Hartnett. It's like your school report.
My school report didn't read like that, trust me.
Is anyone doing Aubergine the movie?
So,
I'm serious.
it sounds a bit phallic. We have to come up with a different name than Aubergine.
I think I've seen that
Do you know
one.
like, no.
We are used to having culinary royalty around this table in the form, obviously, of Dame Angela Hartnett. But today's guest, such a famous chef, like so famous, that we took to Google to look up some of the nicknames and titles that he has been appointed, from the Iron Chef to the Grill Wizard. But my personal favourite, the Godfather, it can only be the man, the legend, Mr. Gordon Ramsay.
Thank you.
Hi, Gordon.
Good to see you both.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us on, by the way.
Pleasure. Our pleasure.
I'm more pissed off that you didn't ask me earlier.
Listen, when we started Dish, I was like, obviously, Gordon.
Yeah.
And you did say Gordon.
I did.
Yes.
I think the invite
Sam.
was there. It's Sam.
Sam.
And your schedule.
You
Yes.
said cordon blur. First of all, congrats on season 4, by the way.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
And happy birthday, girl.
Oh,
Come on.
thank you.
Happy birthday.
Come
on. Bring it in, bring it in.
Come on. Happy birthday.
How many
Amazing.
birthdays have I shared
Amazing.
with you? Quite a lot, actually, over the years.
Nick, when's your birthday?
My birthday's August 14th.
Right.
So
How old are you in August?
I was 39.
Wow.
Big
Still.
bro.
Yeah, still. Yeah. 40 this time next year. This is the big
I'll
one.
take you to Gordon
Amazing.
Ramsay, restaurant Gordon Ramsay. There we go.
It's a
40,
Gordon's.
it's been
How are you?
40.
How's life?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Yeah?
Just come back off the most amazing holiday in Cornwall with the kids, and just, it's our little solace down there. It's just the perfect escape. Great ingredients,
Yeah.
great weather, and just, amazing.
No,
Yeah,
she's-
Tana makes you switch off, doesn't she?
She does.
Blocks it, and he's not allowed to do anything.
She takes the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Phone
yeah.
goes in the safe, and that's it. So, no, Jack was there, Megan was there, Holly was there.
Nice.
Tilly, Oscar.
How
and
big's he now?
oh, don't, honestly. I mean, he's 4.
Yeah.
First day at school, couple of weeks back.
Oh.
Yeah, disaster.
Wow.
Yeah, didn't want to wear. I didn't want to wear his blazer.
Right.
He said, "Dad, it's too itchy." And he said, "The food." I said, "Son, BYO." He said, "What does that mean, Dad?" I said, "Bring your own." So he's got his own lunchbox now that goes to school. It's all bread. He's got his finger sandwiches. And,
Do you do the lunches? Do you do a sandwich?
Tana's good at that in the mornings. I'm normally out by the time those sandwiches get done. So it's very weird going back again. Because having 4 amazing kids and then a 15, 16-year gap and then another one, I promise you get your together. And so everything you did wrong first time round, you do so much better.
Yeah, you're on it.
But now he's growing up at such a rate of knots that he's like a little adult at 4 because, he's got 4 big siblings that he sort of answers to.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I've been dead excited you're coming on today because fan of you, but also I'm really interested in your relationship. And for people that listen to Dish will know that you guys go way back. But some people might be listening to this for the first time and have no idea about the Angela-Gordon relationship. Talk to me about how it began. I actually don't know how it began. Like, what was the first time that you guys met?
I went for a job interview.
Yeah.
And I was made to pick spinach and make markers. Of course, markers made me do all the crap jobs.
Yeah.
Confit shallots. Yeah.
Can you listen to my side now? I thought I was the guest. I don't look at you like someone who picks spinach and chops shallots. You're way better than that. Angela came into that basement kitchen at Aubergine like a freaking tornado. And it was the first one that was studying for a degree. I think it was Cambridge Uni or uni. And
Cambridge
so
Poly,
all of a sudden we had this incredible, articulate female in the kitchen that was just on it. And I think back then it was brutal. The hours were ridiculous. It was 16, 17 hours a day, and we had one tiny team. We were down in the sort of arse end of Fulham in this little tiny restaurant basement with a dilapidated kitchen, and it was just, it was incredibly tenacious but difficult, and we just got through it. But Angela was the first individual that was such a fast learner. Got it first time, and so we didn't have any girls in the kitchen.
Yeah,
then.
it's only me.
Yeah, and then there's a tiny brigade of 6. But it was just that amazing moment where the sort of the attention span got stronger, and when Angela got it, the boys had to get their act together quickly because they couldn't be seen to be behind us. So yeah, we go back a long way.
Did you feel the pressure of being the only girl in the kitchen?
No, to be honest, Gordon was actually quite protective of me because I was the only girl in the kitchen. We had this thing that he'd always say to Marcus, who was the head chef at the time. He'd go upstairs, we'd finish it. Look, Gordon always sent all the food and the last dish went out, and he'd go upstairs to see customers or see Jean-Claude. And he'd go, tell Angela, finish, clean down, get home. I don't want to get in late or missing the bus or anything. And I didn't like that because I wanted to be part of the team and I didn't want to be treated differently. And 2 or 3, and Marcus would go, will you just go? Because otherwise I'm going to get bollocked.
Yeah, she just wouldn't leave.
And I went leave. And then one time I literally followed him in the restaurant and Marcus was like, what is she doing now?
Amazing.
And Gordon just goes, sit down. And I just said, Gordon, please stop sending me home. I don't like it. I want to be part of the team. And he never did. And I regretted that for the rest of my time because
Yeah, 3 weeks in, you're like,
I want to go home now.
The alternative was send her home, picking spinach on the bus.
Yeah.
And so, but I think it was such a lovely mix because we went to hell and back, and there was that moment, and it was like we knew we were onto something special. We were making headway. My management skills were something to be desired at the time. They were I'm talking really bad, but really bad in a way that, listen, I didn't know how to run a business, but I knew how to cook. I was fresh, I was come back from France. We'd gone through this trajectory from this tiny little neighborhood bistro into this amazing 2-star restaurant, and from Tony Blair back then as a guest, those sort of crazy noughties. You know what that's like in terms of what that was prolific for. And Aubergine was that sort of front and center, incredible little powerhouse restaurant that was rubbing the shoulders of all the sort of 2 and 3 star heavyweights. So yeah, we made headway, and talent was created, and spinach was picked, and shallots were chopped.
shots were chopped.
And did other things.
Did it feel like, you know, at the time that it was a really exciting place to work? And were you aware of like the weight of that restaurant and that place?
Oh yeah, because you were the one that was in the headlines. Gordon was in the headlines, in the papers. We were getting all the reviews. You couldn't get a table for love nor money.
No.
You couldn't. We were full lunch and dinner. And we did do 6 days a week. So when you sort of went out on a Sunday and you saw other people, and people going, where are you working? You'd go, the Aubergine. And they'd go, literally. And I had friends, because this is why I think Gordon sort of liked me, because I was I treated like Gordon like my friend as much as my boss and my sort of mentor. But, you know, we had a reputation, but because we worked so many hours and people would come and they'd spend a couple of weeks and they couldn't hack the hours, really. That was it. And then
the hours were as hard as like 16, 17
Yeah,
hours. So what was the schedule? Get in at what time? I don't need the full day, but like you'd get in at what, like
about
7?
7 in the morning.
7:30.
Yeah.
And then to what?
Midnight.
Yeah,
Jeez.
earlier. Saturday was later. And, you know, we closed Saturday lunchtime and all day Sunday, but it was brutal. I mean, literally brutal. But there was something quite unique about that dominant team of 6, because it was just this incredible DNA that was part of that foundation that went on into Royal Oxford Road. And, you know, here we are today, 25 years later. But very few made it. The pressure was insane because outside of that bubble, we had no idea what we were creating. The place was fully booked for 6-7 months in advance, and there was a waiting list 3 times the size every night. And then, of course, the stars. We went sort of almost 2 stars in 3 years. And then, you know, Nico, Marco, Tontclair, Gavroche, you know, we were sort of as good as them, but half the price. So this whole of London just sort of zoomed in on us.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was... Yeah, I'd never change it for the world.
Is anyone doing Aubergine the movie?
So
I'm serious.
it sounds a bit phallic. We have to come up with a
Different name.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we should have a little cheers, because
Cheers.
brand new series.
Brand new
Of
series.
Series 4.
We got Gordon on.
Gordon's here, and the day we're recording it is Angela Hartnett's MBEOB.
Hold on, why you mentioned MB and OB?
Because that's what he
which
does.
one's best?
Angela Hart.
Dame
Happy
Angela.
birthday, girl.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Come on, happy birthday.
How long has the book taken? Tell us about it. Come on.
This thing is an accumulation of literally the last 2.5 decades.
Yeah.
We started writing it 4 years ago. I never wanted to get on that bandwagon every year, just another book.
Sure.
And you start, so it gets a little bit repetitive. And this is personal. So, you know, a story of excellence Royal Hospital Road this month celebrates 25 years, and I still go back to the moment asking Tana to sell our apartment to get the deposit for a 3-year lease, which the bank wouldn't support us because there's no longevity and therefore lack of security. And I managed to convince Tana to sell our dream flat to get the deposit and buy this place off, Pierre Kaufmann, which was an amazing deal because he knew I didn't have the money. And he said, look, Gordon, pay me half now and pay me the other half a year later, which, coming from a tight ass French chef was incredibly generous. And I'd been his head chef previously, and here we are today, 25 years later. So there's reflections of the beginning of the foundation set with Angela and the team at Aubergine that went into that beautiful building at Royal Hospital Road in Chelsea. And we didn't do any flash launch. We invited 50 pensioners from the Royal Hospital Road Hospital, that amazing setup, Christmas Eve, to come down. And the waiters cooked and the cooks waited. And so we did roast turkey, pumpkin soup, prawn cocktail. And these guys are immaculate. Yeah. They're all dressed beautifully, and they come down in their buggies, and then all of a sudden, 4 hours later, you see them zigzagging back into the hospital. Thank God no one gets pulled over with those carts because they were hammered.
It's a beautiful book.
Thank you.
It is. I've just had a beautiful whip through it as we were waiting for you to come there, and like the 3 stars. We do love a round of applause on this podcast, but never for 3 Michelin.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
3 stars. And you talk about in it as well when you got that 3rd star, it was like winning the World Cup.
Yeah, it was brutal. There's, again, a level of pressure that is just, unfathomable in the general scheme of things. And then you push and you drive and the table's in. And stupidly, a year earlier, on some light-hearted documentary called Boiling Point, I never watched it, by the way. I couldn't have asked for anything worse because The Naked Chef was just launched and The Boiling Point was launched at the same time. There was never 2 bigger opposites. And so I opened my big mouth and told the crew that the Michelin from France, and there's a table of 6, they got their numbers, and they were like setting up cameras outside. So the Michelin walked in and they did say, you didn't need to tell the world that we were in. And so they kept me waiting another year. And so that night, when they had finished their dinner, asked for a word in the bar. And then everything just stopped. Everything became silent. And they just said, we're so pleased to let you know discreetly that in the forthcoming guide, you've obtained and won 3 Michelin stars. And all of a sudden, they're just, you just melt into an absolute hot mess. And so it's quite historic. If I've learned one thing, is that you don't need to be a natural to cook. You can be taught. Yeah. And so that's important for a lot of individuals out there thinking, is it my DNA? Is it because of grandma? Is it Nonna? Is it my uncle? No. If you really want something that much, you can teach and be taught.
And where better to start than your brand new book available now?
No, stop.
I'm joking. But talk me through the Michelin Star ruling, because am I right in saying they don't just come like once and go, that was yum. Don't they come and like test it out, and they like it to be consistent, right?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's a consumer guide, right? So it's aimed at the public globally, and so every inspection is incognito. And now they don't have ties, they're super casual, they don't go for their obvious tomato juice and glass champagne. And so there could be 6 inspectors at one table, there could be 1 hosting a table of 5 of their friends or mates. Yeah. And so it's a very sort of modern way. And, they are detailed to the absolute essence. And you maintain stars for
15 years.
15 years. So it's about consistency. And they don't want to see a much bigger standard at their table. They're more concerned about what's going on the left-hand side than the right-hand side. So I think when I'm done and dusted with this industry, I'd like to become a Michelin inspector. I'm just
you might
not
give it away. Well, like, hi, I'm Gordon Ramsay.
No. But I was going to put those prosthetic marks on.
Prosthetics that you did
exactly.
On the show.
I did that once when I went to Delia's cookery school. I got into so much. It was so funny. I wee-weed myself because there she was asking these question and answers, and I had this. Sadly, I can't be made to look younger, so that issue's. So I got made into this old retired school teacher, like 80, hobbling over, like, dude. And then they gave me a pair of breasts. I'm like, what breasts for? No, it's going to make you look older and saggy. I'm like, okay, so I'll put these man on, and then 2 jumpers, a cardigan, and then I had a packet of cigarettes, and like I went in incognito, and I asked Delia, what did she think of Jamie Oliver, and she said, yeah, he's lovely, and then she takes another swig of wine, and I said, and what do you think about that Gordon Ramsay? And she said, he's such a And so legally, I had to then go and explain myself to her that it was me because we couldn't get it passed through the lawyer. So lo and behold, back on, old man cardigan. And this time Norwich was playing away at Bristol. So I then had to go to Bristol City. And I stood outside this football ground, and Delia was getting rushed into this, this Bentley. I'm shouting, Delia! She's looking around at this strange old man with this big sack. And I said, I had to rip my mask off and unveil it was me.
Oh my God.
And she off in the car.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, see you later. She's more interested in the old man. She's like, I'll chat to him.
But I will say this. There was something quite nice about not being recognised. That incognito little bit with this sort of... Yeah, it's really weird. I thought the nose was a bit too long.
I saw you do it in America as well, where you went in... No, there was a guy dressed as you. Do you remember they did that? So you went in the restaurant where the guy was dressed as you, and then you dressed as someone else.
Yeah, that's right. As a customer. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he went independent.
Yeah, that was a good one. But with the Michelin stars as well, they can, once they hand out, they can take it back.
Absolutely.
So how long could you potentially have it for?
Do you know something I don't know?
No, I don't know.
I'm about to lose a star?
No. But I mean, so when they say here's a star, is that for a year, for 10 years, a week? How long do you have that for?
So the guy comes out every year.
Okay.
And the stars are awarded to the restaurants.
Right.
Okay. And so the exciting thing is that level of consistency will maintain those stars. So we're 23 years of the 3-star this year. So,
jeez.
But it's down to the team. Trust me, it's down to the team.
When you say consistency, does that mean as obvious as every single meal needs to be the same, or is the experience consistent?
Combination of both.
Okay.
The experience, the sort of evolution, and then flavor profile. And everyone thinks 3 stars about linen, wine list, and pomp and ceremony. It's not. It's to do with the food and the service. This guide launched in 1900, and there's these collection of these guides now that are spanning 124 years. That's unique, really unique.
I love it. Right, wow, Ange, what have we got going on here?
So we've got a lovely linguine with crab, chilli, and a touch of garlic. Bon appetit.
Delicious. Really good. Oh my God.
That is delicious, Ange. Do you love making this?
I do like making this as a dish, yeah, it's good.
This is beautiful. Did you wow Neil, your husband, over this dish?
Did I wow Neil? I just wowed Neil in general.
I love that.
Oh, did you?
Love that. I wow.
Did you work with Neil?
Well,
He
many
found
times,
Neil. He discovered Neil up in
Wait,
Scotland.
you found Neil?
Yeah.
Wait, what? So did you introduce Angela Neil?
No. Angela got very excited about going up to Scotland all of a sudden and teaching the young chefs. And so,
You're right.
funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, weird.
She said, G, I'm going for an R&D. R&D. Research and development. Yes.
She researched.
She definitely researched and came back with a husband. Definitely. This is really good. Really good. Oh my God.
Do you like cooking for the chefs?
Yeah, I do. Some of the best people I've cooked for have been. But it's always, you still worry, don't you? Of course you do. I remember we had Paul Bocuse at the Connaught one time. We had Alan Ducasse. When you've had some big name chefs.
Have you ever been like, they're here, such a buddy's here, they come and tell you they're in the kitchen?
No, never. No.
Because you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also...
Do you think that good?
I think it's a badge of honour when you've got chefs in the kitchen. I think the only time I was sort of a little bit on the back foot, we had Bradley Cooper training at Royal Hospital Road for the movie. And so he said, look, teach me. And I said, well, I can't teach you how to cook, but what I can teach you is how to plate. And so just seeing that level of discipline coming in onto those plates, within a week's training was incredible because all of a sudden he got it. And we count down 4 minutes, 4, 3, 2, 1, then everything arrives on the pass, which is like your cockpit of, the Formula One car. Everything's there. So from the garnish, the fish, the meat, the sauce, the herbs, and it just comes together.
And it's like high octane, obviously, every night when you're in there. Well, how do you unwind after that? When you finish, how do you go from the high octane of a kitchen to, being at home with the kids?
I would always do, and I still do actually, is cycle home, because it just winds you down. You used to run home for a while.
Yeah, I got under a huge amount of pressure when we first opened Royal Hospital Road, and so my father-in-law gave me a ticket for the marathon. And at the time, I was getting quite big, and I'd put a lot of weight on. So I used to finish service, rucksack on, fill it up with potatoes, and run home. At the time, then it was Claridge's, and I used to run from Claridge's back to Wandsworth, go down the long way around. all the way down to Tower Bridge and then come back up through the embankment. And that was at sort of 12:30. But it's that therapeutic moment where you got the sun shining on the Thames and you're just running, jogging. And then, I remember running my first marathon. It was dark by the time I got back, by the way. Even the hippopotamus overtook me. You're having a run when the hippo takes you over. And then I think it was like 5 hours 30 for my first ever marathon. I've done 15 since, and I'm now down to a 3:30. That was a while back, but that level of keeping fit really helps to reset everything.
Yeah.
And I think the role of a chef today is so much more prolific than it was from 20 years ago, because they've got to be marketing tools, they've got to be business engineers, they've got to be creators, and so you got to look the part.
Did you always have like that mad discipline and drive when you were younger? Did you be like, that's it, I'm going to do it?
I think that comes from a combination of a bit of a Scottish background. Mum was super hardworking. Growing up watching her host 3 jobs, you sort of always understood that she was working hard. So that was an ethic that I took early on. And then I think the sporting connection in terms of in that team uniqueness in the dressing room 5 minutes before kickoff, half time when you're down. And so kitchens are no different. They need that kind of, team captain spirit that's the driving force. So kitchens are exactly the same. We didn't have the distractions back then of the sort of social media implosion, which I welcome that today because it keeps a lot of chefs on their toes when a shot goes viral and it's sent to the other side of the world within minutes. And so I love getting those feedback, especially the shots. The chefs are the worst, by the way, when they come to the restaurant. They sit there, they look at the food, they analyse it, and then they look, what's the plate, who made that?
That's true.
Then it's ice cold, then they send it back to be reheated. So I think it's important for customers to take pictures because that's what they're paying for, because they want to go through, like in the theatre, that memory of Murano or Russell Road and flick through the camera and look at those amazing shots.
And it's an event, it's a night out going to an amazing restaurant.
It is.
It's an event thing. So, Angela, talk me through the crab linguine.
So you've got your crab meat. Because I don't think you're going to take a whole crab and cook a whole crab.
I don't like food admin.
Exactly. No. I love this. Food admin. Anything he's got to work
prep.
at. Yeah, prep. Wow. Doesn't like prep. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. The millennials of today, honestly. Jesus. God almighty.
Sashimi.
What has happened to you? Is there a Nobu open up in Whitby Bay?
So get my crab. Meat. Ready?
In a pan.
Yes.
Melt some butter, touch of olive oil, add some finely diced shallot, touch of chopped chilli and garlic, cook that down, no colour, really soft. Add your crab meat, bit of white wine, and cook your pasta and toss it all together.
And that is it. Easy as that. If you want to try this recipe, waitrose.com/dish recipes. There is a wine pairing with this pasta, which is a Foscarino Soave Classico, with a drawing of myself and Angela on the label.
Love that. Love that.
This is an Italian white wine, which goes perfectly with the crab linguine. So if you're going to make the crab linguine, you can treat yourself to a bottle of this white wine.
It's beautiful, by the way. I spent some time in Soave with an amazing producer called Nero Pirapan. And from a chef's point of view, you need to understand how good that balance is when you got that wine with those pairings. So I went and did a week with him, literally before Aubergine opened. And Soave, they dry the grapes to intensify the sweetness. And this is, beautiful.
Delicious.
Beautiful.
Really good.
Yeah, and the image very lifelike. I feel.
It's like a Rembrandt.
Yeah, very lifelike. It really is. Really is. I know we spoke about the book already, but we have to speak about Restaurant Gordon Ramsay, a story of excellence. Actually features none other than dishes, Angela Hartnett. Do you want to read this out?
If you want to, Nick.
Okay. I'll put it in here like this. So
Nick, we should dim the lights and bedtime story.
Welcome to Gordon's Storytime. It's a very odd experience because you need to be both selfless and selfish. You cannot make a successful restaurant without sharing your vision with a few select people who can create vision. Who those people are becomes obvious the moment you work with them. Successful restaurants are one team, one dream, and if you don't have that, you're out of business. That sounds like you, doesn't it?
Yes.
Among my trusted few were Marcus Waring, Angela Hartnett, some other people. I couldn't have done it without them.
Oh,
that's nice. He continues. He continues. Angela Hartnett, too, as another thoroughbred, an excellent chef and manager who commanded the respect of the restaurant team at all times. She was totally dedicated, and if I knew, if need be, she would come in at the drop of a hat and nail whatever task she was given. I can't stress how marvellous it is enough to have had people like hers and the others I've mentioned in the kitchen. It's like your school report.
Amazing. My school report didn't read like that. Trust me. I promise you now. Amazing. And I meant every word, by the way.
Thank you.
Seriously.
No, I've never, like, people always, like, some people have seen programmes go, I can't believe it. I'd never, ever, if anyone said, would you change it? I loved the aubergine. There were times I hated it, but I absolutely look back and, like, say, I would never be here today without Gordon. I wouldn't have been. I didn't understand the whole sort of hierarchy of a kitchen. I just thought, I work for Gordon, he's a great guy, I can talk to him like normally.
Yes.
And then one morning I was late, because I was always late, and you know, and I've got there, and it's like, as we started 7:10, it was a half-hour cycle. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't got my chef's jacket. So I thought, what to do? And I looked at Marcus, I said, haven't got a spare one? They no. And then I see this pristine Egyptian cotton Gordon Ramsay chef whites hanging up in the office. I said, I'm going to wear one of Gordon's. And Marcus just went white. And Marcus was like, you can't. I said, what do I want to do? I go home and I'm screwed. If I lose 2 minutes now just talking to you, I'm screwed as it is to get ready for service. So I just put one on, and as soon as Gordon in, I walked in. I said, Gordon, I've just put one on. And he just went, he goes, no problem, darling. And then after it's the end of the day, he goes, nice, isn't it, that? Nice. I said, it's very nice, Gordon. I quite like one of these.
I remember that.
I know what I want to talk to Gordon about.
Oh, God.
Is I've recently thought, it's TikTok time. I was like, I've got to get on board. Angela is so anti my social media life. She is not into it at all.
Really?
Well, only because you wake up and you before I've even got out of bed, there's a picture of him going, hello, well, this is my pancake. And I'm like, I don't care. You know, he puts his life on it.
Oh, do you? How many followers do you have now?
On TikTok?
Yes.
Like, not a lot.
No, but
nearly 40,000.
Yeah, but
That's good.
You've got
That's
over
good.
1 million on
on
Instagram.
Instagram. But I was like, I've got to get onto the
but
TikTok.
40,000 followers on TikTok, that's huge. I've got 40 million on TikTok. Sorry. And middle-aged men at my age and my weight should not be on TikTok. But
you need to get Gordon to do it.
I know, but your TikTok sort of, you know, content is fantastic.
I thank Tilly for that, because Tilly says, Dad, you know, and I'm like, Tills, no. And so when we started...
I love the dancing.
And then in lockdown, you know, she was asking me to recite words, and I didn't know at the time she was taking the piss massively. And then these things went viral. And so we started doing more dancing, and then she was on Strictly, and we started doing more dancing. And then she wanted to put me in a leotard with like spray tan and glitter. I said, no, okay, I'm going to stop you there. But it's fun. I mean, the amount of food now on those social platforms, it's so exciting. And it's a sort of new generation. To help with the launch of the book, I went to Westminster College this morning and spent an hour with 250 new students as a surprise. And that's what they wanted to talk about, the social platforms and the excitement they get for the food knowledge. And we didn't have those distractions. So,
and I guess it is like, you know, the social media is full of problems and stuff, but it's great access for recipes. And when you see someone doing a recipe in a minute, you're like, I could do that. You know, like it is something quite empowering about seeing like food done quick on TikTok and Instagram, isn't there?
Do you follow me?
No, I don't actually.
No, good, because I don't need any more followers. But I'll follow you. So,
don't think I do.
Nick, I'll follow
I only follow 5 people. I've really not got my TikTok.
I will follow you. So
I follow 5 people. So
Follow 6,
I don't even have 40,000. I have 38.9.
Oh, that's terrible.
Know, it's terrible.
But we have to start somewhere. Trust me.
We do. Do you know what I mean?
We'll do a TikTok together one day.
We'll do it one day.
I'd love
We'll
that.
get Ange on
the
board.
3 of us, yes.
Come on.
Come on.
Ange.
Come on. It'd be good.
Get her on there.
Thank you.
You
There
in
you
the
go.
kitchen. Like, here's how to do that Murano meal in a minute.
Yes.
Gordon, thank you so much for coming to see us.
Pleasure.
Thank you for kicking off our series. Thanks for bringing us copies of your wonderful book,
Good to see you guys.
Gordon Ramsay.
Congrats.
That was fab. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Gordon Ramsay, everybody.